Hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to the 7th episode of the Collective Perspective podcast, take 2, because the first one got a little messed up. Today, it happens. Today I'm with my great friend Tyrone.
Yo, what's poppin'?
Uh,
AKA Young Dagger Dick 2.0.
Young Dagger Dick 2.0.
Yes, sir.
In the beginning, there was an interesting story. I mean, as they say, you just gotta jump right into it.
Are you good? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, wait. So, am I gonna repeat this story, or are you just gonna find another way?
I mean, if you
we can talk about something else too.
I think,
you know?
Yeah. I mean, let's ease into it. Let's talk about some things that are. What would you say We'll get also into like what the moral of the story is for people, so shit don't happen to them, and what you learn from it. But actually, fuck it, bro. Let's just get into it and say what we can do different. Fuck it.
All right. Moral of the story: get a test before you fuck a bitch.
Yeah, you don't want to
straight up
give people diseases.
Yes, and you don't want to catch them either.
Yes.
Okay. Check everybody before and after.
Yep.
Now, to get into it, this girl Becca, all right. We ended up getting, huh?
Not a real.
Yeah. Of course. I don't even fuck with no girl named Becca. But basically, so my friend C, we'll call it Connor. Connor hits me up and gives me a couple of girls because I'm thirsty. And it's summertime, you know, I'm trying to get down at least with somebody. And he tells me about 2 girls. One of these girls I know won't do stuff. And her name is, let's say, Z. And she, I know, would not want to do certain things that I want to do. And so we don't end up talking for like 2 months. But I ended up talking to this girl, Becca. And Becca was down because like, we was talking like 2 years before that. But like, I finally decided to, you know, like reach out and like see what we could do. And basically, we ended up talking. I met up with her and we ended up getting into it. My stupid ass only brought 1 condom. You always bring 2 condoms, okay? Straight up. Lesson number 2. Moral of the story. Bring 2 condoms.
Always get tested and always bring 2 condoms.
Yes. Always bring 2 because you always want to go that second round if something happens to that first condom. All right. Basically, we ended up going round 1. I ended up busting pretty quick, but it was worth it. And so then I ended up thinking like, yo, I want to hit it again. You know, like if I can get 2 in the same fucking session, that'd be awesome. And so we ended up getting into it again. And I did not wear a condom.
Oh, that's lesson 3.
Yes, wear a condom. Like there's this idea of, you know, just, you know, like, fuck it, let's do it anyway. But like, I don't care if she's pregnant anyway. That shows that another dick's been in her, and you don't want to do that.
I think.
Okay?
Oh yeah. So we didn't fill them in.
I try to brush over that.
He fucked a pregnant girl.
Basically. She was hit up by a guy that went to prison before he went to prison. And basically, I ended up getting into it with her. And I was like, yo, she's pregnant, so she can't get pregnant again. I'm good, you know? So I ended up...
You nutted on a baby, bro.
Huh?
You nutted on a baby, bro. That's fucked up.
Bro. So basically, like, we was done. I wrapped it up. And then we kept moving with our lives, you know? So 2 or 3 months later, I ended up talking to this girl, Z. And we ended up hanging out, you know, being cool, like not really like into that sex shit just yet. And so like a month goes by, and then she decides she wants to fuck, and we end up fucking. And I'm like, before this actually, I told her, I'm like, yo, like before we get into anything, we might want to get like tested or something. And she's like, yeah, I agree. And then we fucked. And I was like, okay, this makes sense. And then, you know, like we had a whole relationship, like 3 months go by, we're good. Another 3 months go by, we went on this whole trip fucking to New Hampshire. I gotta tell you about that like separately, but oh, it was so good, bro. And so yeah, it comes to like 6 months now, and I'm at work as a chef, right? And she texts me at work, and she's like, "Yo, what the fuck? We gotta talk." And I'm like, "Okay." And she's like, "You gotta go outside. Like, I need to talk to you on the phone." And I'm like, "Okay, what's this about?" And then like she calls me, right? And she's like, "I just got tested, and apparently I got chlamydia." And I'm like, "Oh my God." While I'm at work too, so I have to think about this the whole time, like while I'm at work.
Yeah.
So that's not the worst part of it, but basically that shit sucked. And so she's telling me like, you know, like I'm a virgin, like you're the only person I've been with, blah 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 blah. I'm like, I don't know, like shit happens, like I don't know, like we're like, you know, and we ended up like a month later, like this, like finally like cutting shit off, you know, like I ended up fucking her one more time before we left, but like it was good, bro. It was a good fucking relationship, and we were honest with each other. I just didn't know that I would catch shit like that, and you know, shit happens.
Yeah.
So basically, like moral of the story, bro.
Be careful with who you get with, and don't fuck bitches raw.
Bro, before that, when I texted the girl and I was like, "Yo, you might have chlamydia," because like you know, I hadn't been feeling that shit before. She was like, "Oh, okay." Like that's when you know, like what the fuck, like you know what I'm saying? I'm eating tacos right now. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Where's my face? Can you see me?
No,
Oh, there we
I'm
go.
on the game right now.
Wait, you can't see me still?
No, I'm on my game.
Hmm.
You can.
Wait, can they see me?
No.
Word.
No, I can't see you.
Yeah, you know, I know I look sexy right now with all this sauce on my face. You know?
Someone said to that.
You got a girl, bro?
Nah, not at the moment.
Word. You thinking about getting a girl, or you just trying to mess around?
Probably gonna get a girl.
Oh.
I've just been taking my time with it, you feel me?
Yeah, love's good, bro. I agree. What if I play copyrighted music? Is that okay or no?
I'd prefer if you didn't.
Alright, word. I just want to play something in the back, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just really getting, like, connected with myself first and foremost, because if I ain't connected with myself, then I don't know what I'm looking for. So how can I connect with somebody else?
I hear you.
Like, beyond just, like, surface level bullshit, and I know that shit won't, like, satisfy me. Like, just like, fucking random women isn't satisfying to me. Like, that shit, it just leaves me empty. Like, me personally, that's just how I feel about it. Like, it is fun, but it's also at the same time, it's just like, I want something real.
Yeah, having something real is important, bro.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
I agree. I just think that, like, you know, there's certain points in any man's life when he just needs to, like, you know, get down and, like, play around.
Yeah. I feel you.
The thing is, when you get hooked onto a girl, and she's like your only girl that you've, like, really been with, you, like, lose the concept that there's 3.5 billion girls out here.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Cause it's crazy. Like you meet some people and they're so like you, bro. And like when you thought about what I wanted to talk about, like consciousness and
Yeah.
the getting deeper clarity about signals that we're getting, like it's just like everybody is each other. Like we're all just one fucking organism that's like expressing. Like the fact that we do such weird shit is like so funny. You know, the fact that we
Like,
like get drunk and high as like cells on this fucking organism,
yeah,
and we drive really fast, like fucking awesome.
that's cool.
But I can't help but like think that, like like the last job I had before. Well, not like the last job. I had a few jobs before, but like I was working at this fine dining place, and like every time I would hear an ambulance pass by, I thought about the fact that like I'm gonna die someday. Like, is this what I want to do with my life?
Yeah.
And I think that like whenever I'm at a place and I hear ambulances coming day by day, that's my signal.
I mean, I try.
And I'm hearing,
No, finish what you said.
like I be hearing ambulances out here,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, like something calls me to New York a lot, but I feel like I'd be hearing like a lot of fucking ambulances out there. My point being is like, I feel drawn to like just go out and like connect with people that are like on a vibe where like we're just growing as humans. We're not like specifically like critiquing each other's past and shit. Like we're just,
Exactly. We just vibing with it and growing together. And
yeah.
learning.
I want to get into a topic real quick because it's been bouncing around out there a lot recently.
Yeah, go for it.
Feminism.
What do you have to say about it? I have mixed opinions.
I agree. Same. How about you go first?
Okay, so let's just jump into it, as they say, and as we said with the chlamydia story. So I believe that we're all one, and to a certain extent, I feel like feminism now is a way of some women basically escaping responsibility, and some aspects of feminism can be extremely toxic, but at its original roots I extremely agree with feminism. But the modern Western ideals of it I disagree with, because I feel like they've bastardized it, I guess is one way of saying it. And also it can be used to demean men and take away masculinity from our generations, which can make us all weaker. Because there is differences between us, not saying that we aren't both equal, but there are differences and stuff, and both
Biologically
genders,
too.
yes, biologically and also energetically. Like we can both have masculine and feminine energies. They're both extremely beneficial, but you need to have them balanced and like understand them at a deeper level, than rather than just like blaming them and trying to like say like this is the problem or something, because then nothing gets solved.
Well, I also like, I think, because I talk to girls like a lot, like, cause like girls are just easier for me to talk to.
Yeah.
But basically, like, I talk to them and I'm like, what do you think? And they're like, all I really want to do is come home, make dinner, fucking clean the house or whatever, improve the house, Like, they don't want to be going out working fucking stupid ass jobs and working in fucking mines, working with fucking machines and shit. They just don't want to do it. And like, I think it's important for the genders to like be a symbol of like, we share our roles, and we enjoy the fact that we're different, and we're different and there's no point of it's so interesting to me. I was thinking earlier today, right? Everybody has these like points of like discussion of like, I want to change this, I want to change this, I want to change this, right? You know what I said to myself?
What do you say?
I'm like, this is perfect. Everything is just perfect right now.
Okay.
Like, you think about it, bro. In the way that life works, it's cyclic. Everything comes around. So one side's gonna push and get closer to the one side, and then over time, the other side's gonna push back. Then over time, it's gonna push back, and so we're just going through a time. And like, I don't think that like people shouldn't get invested into like things that they feel is important. I just feel like people shouldn't be worried about it.
Yeah.
Everything changes. Like the people like beginning of COVID that didn't want to do anything, you know, like didn't want to wear masks and shit, you know, like that was their choice. And the people that are still doing it nowadays, it's like, you know, we don't judge people for their choices, but we all have this freedom of thought. Like, I'm watching you play right now. I'm kind of getting confused because it's fucking awesome. You're going like silent. Oh, this shit. Like, what was I saying?
Cyclic.
Yeah.
Changes, masks, people.
Yeah, like I think that like if you look at history, people have tried to control what people did, and they control you by fear. You know, like believing that there's gonna be like this sickness going around, and we all think that it's gonna happen. Like if you're scared, like think about when you was a kid, right? You didn't want to go to school. You just acted sick, you know, and you actually ended up feeling sick, you know. But if you think about it, the whole world is like looking at you with these masks on, and you feel disconnected. You don't know what to do. Think about your reality. It's like someone's actually fucking with your reality. And that's not good, you know? And so people that had the choice to not do shit, like, I think to hold in as long as they did, you know? Like, I obviously wore a mask when, you know, I really just needed to get shit done. I didn't want to fuck with people, like, you know? But, like, it wasn't something I was ever happy about. But at the end, I was just like, you know what? I'm going to fucking do what I want to do. And I'm not going to let something decide what I'm going to do, you know?
Okay.
And it's not that, like, it's not that, like, I stopped wearing the mask for certain things. But, like, I let myself be okay with the fact that, like, this is something that's happening right now. And everything's working out for the highest good. And now people are like living a life that's so much more connected, I feel, because they've been separated for so long.
Okay. I see what you're saying. I remember during some of the things that you were saying, you said they lead through fear. So one of my questions, I remember one of the things you said is that we're led by fear. So wait, can I drive off this? Oh shit. Oh shit. Yes, the answer is yes.
Oh, and you fucking made it. What the fuck?
Yeah. I'm invincible,
You
bro.
were saying though?
Try that in real life. I'm invincible. But you said no. Joke. So you said they lead by fear. So what would you say some ways in which that we can lead as a society through compassion and love, like building that on like that as the...
I agree with the second thing you said. I agree that we should have love in everything that we do and love ourselves.
Okay.
Compassion though, I think people are getting mistaken about being a leader. A leader does not put on a mask to make the other people in the tribe feel strong. A leader is someone who makes a choice, whether that be putting on the mask or not, and sticks with it so that people see they have somebody that agrees with them. you know?
So how does that have to do with compassion?
Because I feel like some people who are compassionate decide to put on a mask because they don't want other people to feel uncomfortable. And in that, you are basically saying that it's okay to do something you don't want to do because somebody else is feeling upset, versus when they could just be at home doing whatever the fuck they need to do when you're trying to live your life, you know?
Holy fuck. What the fuck was that?
Like, I think that, like, compassion in the sense that, like,
I mean,
you're
compassion, not as like a front, but like actual genuine compassion for other people and like wanting the best for them.
Well, I think like wanting the best for people and compassion.
Like working together and feeling compassionate for those that are less fortunate. So trying to like work together.
I just want to make sure we're not mixing the meaning of compassion and sympathy.
No. I don't mean sympathy. I mean compassion, like understanding people and like working together to really create something. It's more empathy than sympathy.
Working together and understanding each other. I agree with that.
Because you understand, like, I wouldn't want to be in that situation. That's empathy. It's not like, oh, you're doing so badly. Like, I feel bad for you. Whereas empathy, like, you can actually see yourself in their shoes because we're all connected. And like understanding their pain and like not wanting that for anybody.
Yeah, I think you can be compassionate again, like in terms of the mask situation. Like you can be compassionate and not take off, like not wear a mask.
Yeah.
You know, you can understand like what that person feels. Exactly. I guess I was thinking more of like sympathy, where you're doing things to feel like that person.
No. It's not like putting on a front like, oh yeah, like that's kind of sucks. Like I'm just gonna like act like I care, but like not really do anything. But it's like actually like what can we do to like make everyone do better and like so we can thrive together.
Well, I think the people that want to do better and the people that feel like they're doing what they want to do anyway, it's very interesting. Like we all get drawn towards each other. You know, like me and you end up talking about the same shit all the time.
Yeah.
We end up talking about like business shit. Yeah. We end up talking about podcasts.
I'm happy I'm not talking about getting chlamydia right now.
What's that?
I'm happy I'm not talking about getting chlamydia.
Hey man, I'm gonna just say this right now. I wouldn't change it for the world. You know what? You want me to tell you this story about New Hampshire, bro?
Go for it.
Basically, this was with the girl Z, right? Okay. This was towards the end of our relationship. Okay. We both had a birthday, right? My birthday was the 23rd. Hers was the 24th. She wanted to do this thing. She planned it for so long. And she wanted to surprise me with this on the day. And she wanted it to last like 3 days.
Wait, can you play that back? Like I just missed like a bunch of the stuff you were just saying. She was trying to surprise you. What was she surprising you with? You said
she was trying to surprise me, and she said that I would need to be like free for 3 days. Oh, and I'm like, so we would be staying somewhere. And I was like thinking about it, and like this was like a whole month she was thinking about this. And I was thinking about it. And like 2 days before, I was just like, all right, nah, I don't want to do this anymore. And then the day before, I end up talking to her, and I'm like, yo, like, and I'll admit the way I said it is not the greatest, but I'll say exactly what I said because I remember it to this day.
Got you.
I was just like, I feel like I've been in a place where I'm just going with the flow a lot, and I really just want to make a decision for myself. And I know, like, I feel like we would regret not going somewhere else instead of being on Cape Cod, you know? Like, I feel like we'd be a lot happier if we did something else. And she was like, she was understanding at first. She was like, okay, well, what did you have in mind? And I was like, well, I've been looking at this place in New Hampshire, and it's like a highway that goes all the way up a mountain, and there's
Okay.
multiple like sites on the side of the road.
Yeah, that's dope.
It's fucking awesome.
That's awesome.
And so we end up. Hold on one second. So she's like, "Yeah, cool, we can go." And it was awesome because I got to smoke weed up there, and I brought mushrooms. That shit was awesome.
I can imagine. It sounds like an amazing time.
Oh yeah, and I got to tell you, like before we left,
Mhm.
I ended up convincing my boss at the place I worked at to give me a fish so I could fillet it and could eat it, which
Okay.
was awesome, bro. And so we hop in the car. We end up going. You know, I ended up planning this shit like a day before we left. I was just like, "This is where we're going. We drive tomorrow." And she's like, "All right, word." We end up going, right? And we find this place, and the gate is like closed, but it's not locked.
Okay.
So I'm like, "All right, I'm gonna unlock it real quick. You just drive through." And so I just moved the fucking gate, and we end up driving in. We're looking at a couple spots, and this car pulls up behind us, and it's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm just like, "It was the gate was open." He's like, "No, it wasn't." I'm like, "It wasn't locked." And he's like, "Well, that still means we're not open." And I'm like, "Oh, my bad." And he's like, "You think you're real fucking tough, huh?" I'm like, what do you mean, bro? Like, I'm just, I just came inside." And then he's like, "Yeah, you think you're big and fucking, you can do whatever the fuck you want." I'm like, "Okay." And so we end up leaving that spot.
Yeah.
And we end up going a little bit up the road, and there's another spot. Like, there was so many spots that were just open. We end up finding a spot. We set up. Fucking, it was like $50 for, no, I think it was like $25 or $50 a night. And you can stay at the campsite. And we were staying at this place that had like a river right next to the fucking campsite. It was awesome. There's nothing better than just listening to the fucking. Well, there is, and I'll get to that later. But it's just like listening to that river just like flow, like, and you're just chilling and fucking laying in your tent. It's fucking nice.
It is
And
nice.
so like we get into the tent, we get busy, you know what I'm saying? Jiggity jiggity boop bop. And then the morning comes, we end up going into town. You drive down this mountain. It's fucking nice. You go into this nice little town. We end up getting some things, coming back. I end up filleting the fish and taking some shrooms. We made like Tostitos with some salsa and the
Oh shit.
fish. Oh shit, bro! I was watching that. We end up putting the fish on some Tostitos with some salsa. Shit was fucking good, bro. All you need for fish is fucking salt and pepper, and lemon makes it even better. Big facts.
Sounds lit.
So basically, next morning, right? We end up going to the river, and we end up jumping in the water, and we end up taking a shower. Washing ourselves off and everything. And we end up laying in the water, playing a little bit. Me, I'm a very sexual man, so I like to talk about that shit. But I'll leave out some of that shit. My point being, we end up fucking like showering in the water, and it's just so fucking cool. And so we get out, we go back, and she wanted to take a nap. And I was like, being on my romantic shit, I walked down the river a little bit, and I wanted to build her like a stone walkway across the thing. Also, I was on mushrooms, so I was like trying to puzzle things together.
Yeah.
So the whole time, I am making sure that I never touch the water, right? Block by block. I'm halfway there, block by block.
Is it just like a game or?
No, like I wanted her to have this like walk across the river and like be able to not like get wet.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I was on some like romantic shit. And so basically she ends up coming before I got done. And like, I guess it knocked me out of my element because I wanted to surprise her. I can't fucking break it and then build it again. Like, so she comes up and she's like, "Oh, what you doing?" I'm like, "I was building you a path to get across the water." She's like, "Oh." And so she ends up starting to walk on the thing, and I just fucking I was walking in front of her, and then I just fucking fell in. So I was like, whatever. And like that was the first time that I fell in when like I was around her, you know. And then like I ended up just like helping her across, standing in the water. But it was like I could have just fucking picked her ass up and just walked across. But like I wanted to be romantic, you know.
I mean, either way would have been romantic, but I see where you're coming from. That sounds like a mushroom plan.
Yeah, bro. Building shit, bro. Yeah. Feeling like a whole life changer right there.
Yeah. Working for a construction team.
Yeah. And so basically, we finish up there in New Hampshire. You know, the best part was like the people that are there. They're so nice, and they stay there like seasonally. Yeah. Like not the neighbors, but like the hosts. And so basically, like they kept like showing up every time, like before I smoked a bowl. And so like I had to like try and keep it low key. So I'd have her go talk to them while I was like trying to like hold them to smoke. And then they would come up to the site and like, you know, it was just so good to like just go up there and like feel free to like smoke at any time out in the woods and fucking take some shrooms, chill with the girl, fuck a little, you know.
Does sound fun.
So basically, the trip comes to an end, and hold on. I'm sorry, I'm eating tacos at the moment.
It's understandable, bro.
So basically, we end up leaving at like 3:00 in the morning. So I wanted to just leave early so we get home nice and like before dark. And so we made sure to pack a lot of shit before. And then so all we had to do was just like put our bedding and the tent in the car. We leave. I rolled something up before we left. We get onto the road. She ends up falling asleep. And I'm telling you, bro, I spark up that joint, roll down the window a little bit. Keep in mind, this weather is like a nice, cool breeze, but it's hot. It's hot, but it's a nice, cool breeze, bro. We start driving down the mountain. The full moon is like so fucking big, bro. Okay. Oh, and I'm driving down the mountain. I'm smoking my joint. I'm like, I'm looking at the moon, and it's us. We're the only people on this mountain, and you can like see so far down ahead of you.
It's beautiful.
It's like so fucking beautiful, bro.
It's beautiful.
Like, oh, so nice. And then I just like I put my hand on my girl, and I was just like, yo, this is awesome. That was the thing that like fucked with me, because like those moments where you like really get like deep with a girl and you're just like, fuck, like this is like awesome. This is what I've been looking for. And there turns out that trip was like, you know, like that try to save it trip. And we didn't end up staying together because of that whole situation with the Jamia Kangal.
Yeah, I mean, so, it happens. I mean, I feel bad for her though.
You know,
it happens. I mean,
yeah,
it just wasn't right, and I always found something to figure it out. And still,
you know, it's something weird though.
Yeah.
Like we ended up like after we broke up and shit, like she ended up getting into like a car crash.
Really?
And yeah. And like I just didn't feel anything towards it. And that was like when I realized how like desensitized I was to everything. Because it was like I put so much into this girl. I told her so many things, you know. We shared a lot of moments together. But like she got into a car crash, and like I wasn't like happy that she got into one, but like I wasn't like concerned about it. Like I didn't feel anything. I'm like, okay. I ended up talking to my friend, and then he's like, yo, this shit happened. He's like, yo, you should really have some, you know, like, is the word compassion, I guess. compassion for her, and I'm like, bro, like, I just don't like think about it. I don't like think about her like that. Like, I think that like shit happens to people based on how they feel in the moment. If you go outside when you're pissed off, you're gonna do something that you don't necessarily would not necessarily do if you were happy.
But what if a kid gets cancer?
What the fuck does that have to do with crashing?
I mean, shit happens sometimes.
Yeah, but like crashing, you get like when you're like thinking about shit and you're like, you're just like out of it. Like, then you're not gonna like drive a car properly. But like if you're getting cancer, like that's like something that like just it happens, But I wouldn't care if somebody got cancer. Like if somebody got cancer, like that's just their thing that they need to work through. It's not like the biggest thing is healing. I agree with that. I agree that we should be focused around like healing people, But like don't be like giving power to this thing and like saying that this thing is gonna do something bad to you. Just
of course.
Allow everything to flow through. Like I couldn't really like text you back earlier because I've had this like pain in my fucking ear and my tooth, and it was just so hard to even text. And now, like I'm just keep going with it, and then it flows through, and it's all done.
I see what you're saying.
What about you, bro? What's a really like a memory that you always think about, where you're like, if I need to think of a good memory, I can just put myself back in that place.
Good memory. Really recently, it's been a lot better because I've been seeing how I create my own reality, and I've been connecting with a higher aspect of myself, which has made it so I can achieve higher states more regularly. But for memories, I'm just grateful I'm alive, bro. That's all I have to say. I'm just grateful I'm alive. There's been so many times where I could have died.
It's fucking interesting that happens so early in life.
Yeah, I'm happy it did though. I've learned a lot from it.
That's an interesting part too. If people, like a lot of people have trauma, and that's made them like.
But that was also because I had I'm grateful because I had a good family and upbringing. Whereas if people come into a world at a young age and they're just met with trauma, they don't know how to cope with it. They don't know how to handle it because they don't have the foundation for it, because they're still young and developing. So that's where I think it really comes from. I mean, it can happen later in life as well, but I feel like that's especially when stuff happens at an early age and it really shapes their view of themselves in the world. Yeah. It takes more work to really understand the lessons that are needed in order to grow from that situation.
Yeah, it takes a while until you finally understand what happened.
Yeah.
Like I noticed that when I was a kid, I would just, things would happen, but I wouldn't invest emotionally into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd be like, okay, this happened today, but tomorrow something will come.
Yeah. I wonder if that's why when she got in the crash, you didn't really feel anything, because that's just kind of a mechanism you have.
Well, the thing is, I know my mom, right? My mom is bipolar, and sometimes when I was living with her, she used to just get naked and get in the car and just drive.
Yeah.
And basically, I know that if my mom survived all that shit, you know, the crash that she got into was something so fucking minimal that she's just like, I felt like it was really just to like get attention,
Okay.
you know.
How
But
bad was it? Like when you said like she got into a crash, like I thought like really fucked up, like hospital, or was it just like major? She just kind of like fucked up her car.
I don't know if she went to the hospital, but I do know that the car was wrecked, like it was not functional.
I'd feel like kind of bad. I understand. Like,
But I only found out that afterwards.
Yeah.
I only like you know, when I first heard she got into an accident, I thought she was just trying to tell, my friend Ben to like get me to talk to her.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I also just think that like I just didn't like, I think because like my grandma died at like when I was like 11 or like 10 or 11. I just like I understood that like things happen, and I'm not like a person that really gets invested into like emotions like that. Like, you know, shit happens. I'm not gonna be like, oh, are you okay? Like, get well. Like, the fuck? What else are you gonna do? You know?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Like, this reality is only temporary as well. So, I understand what you're saying. This is only one stop on our journey.
Yeah, I'm interested to like, you know, they have this idea about time travel, right? And you can only like, there's a theory that you can only time travel from when the machine was built and forward. You can't look any time before the machine was built. So you think now that when this time machine is built, all time becomes linear. There's no all time becomes like instant. Nothing. Yeah, instant. Everything happens at once.
There's another word for it. I forget. It would be non-linear.
Yeah.
Let's just say like it becomes non-linear.
Yeah. Like everything just happens at once. And that means that when we travel, we can stand over here in an event and we can move over here into an event. And it would be different points of existence. And like, if you think about it, think about it like this: like somebody goes to a music event, you can instantly go to another place that's like a comedy festival, you know? And we end up doing that online with different channels where we can like travel into spaces and time where things are happening, like lives or whatever. But you think about the fact that like we are all just existing, like, and like everything is existing at once, you know? Like where do you think the change comes where people aren't just sitting in their house just chilling, like, you know? Like right now I've got 2 devices on, but I've got like so much peace and quiet right now. I think that like before the times there was so much more quiet because people were a lot more spread out. But the more we grow, the connection between people closest to us and the environment is going to be like a lot more interactive. Okay. Like we can change things a lot more and a lot more easily.
Yeah, because I mean, we're all gods, so I mean, once we start understanding consciousness, that's when things really change. Once we start understanding ourselves and our power.
But also like understanding that everything has a consciousness, and that, you know, interacting with anything, it's like you're interacting with yourself, and how you treat that thing, or, you know, how you feel towards it is important. And that's why like me now, like I'm a lot more neutral about things, but I also like, I have my opinions about things, but I understand the consequences of me believing certain things. So I make sure that like whatever I believe in, it's gonna make me a stronger and happier person.
I agree with that Also, I think it's good to understand that every perspective is just one perspective, and there's infinite other perspectives. So even if you view the world one way, every way in which you can view something is only a half truth, because there's infinite other ways in which you can view that, which can all be said to be equally true. So why adopt a perspective that isn't serving to you?
Exactly.
Make it as biased as you want to.
I like that point that you say, like 50-50, you know? You're either like 50% right or 50% wrong. So like, you know, whatever, just do it. And then you can believe. And like the best thing I've seen, like, or that I've been noticing recently, is like you look at people in the beginning of their careers where they want to like go for something, and this idea of struggle, which I believe comes from just, sorry,
resistance.
Can you say that again?
Comes from resistance.
Yes, I agree. I believe that it comes from the resistance to be someone different than who you've been. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I agree with that. Because there's a resistance because in the subconscious you're still identified with another version of yourself from past programming. So you resist that change because that your subconscious wants to kind of maintain some sort of stable image of who you are. So when you start changing things, it kind of it's a backfiring, self-sabotage, I guess is a better word, and things like that, because it's basically like trying to maintain like the equilibrium of who you think you are and how the world works. But once you start reprogramming your subconscious, then you can change everything. You can change everything. You can change how people react to you. You can change how you interact with yourself, how you view yourself, how you feel about yourself, how your reality is created.
I think it's amazing that people of all different types of lives can live the life that they want to, and the fact that they can like you think about all the little factors. Like, people will complain about this or that or that or that, right? But you think about how much control you really have over everything that happens in your life. You know, you have the ability to go outside, get a job towards whatever the fuck you want to do. You can monetize anything you want to do. You can monetize video games. You can monetize walking down the street and talking to people. You can monetize sitting in the park, you know. And the fact that like, what's that?
Every person you talk to is $5.
Yeah, dude. Whatever the fuck, like, you can do anything. And I think the fact that we are able to have that much power nowadays, and to understand that we can do anything, it's a big pressure. I understand that. But it's also like, there's nothing holding us back. And if you think about it, our whole lives also, we're just constantly moving towards the thing we love the most. If you think about it now, right? You have a favorite ice cream or a favorite thing you like to do on a Friday night, or, you know, those things that there's a favorite song you have. It's all because you have made decisions in your life that are better and better and better and better suited to where you're at now in your life. So if you think about the fact that like you're listening to consciousness, you're listening to business ideas, and that sort of things. You're listening to things that are improving yourself, but you're not doing it in a way where it's like I have to do this amount of studying and I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. It's just listening. It's just taking in that information. And as you said before, that training your subconscious, allowing yourself to just be comfortable, do what you want to do. You find yourself making the right decisions for yourself. Yes, you'll make a fucked up decision every now and then, but you learn from it instantly. Sometimes, it takes a while, but it's a bigger lesson.
Yeah. Yeah, some of the bigger lessons definitely take a lot more time to really learn and implement. Like you said, like also with like just listening, like it's more than just listening, because you need to implement some of these things, because you can listen to it all day and it doesn't change anything, because you actually learn from actually going out and doing it, and like actually learning from the process of it. Because like I can sit back and like listen to all of the people who have successfully run a business talk about how they made their business successful, but if I'm not doing anything for our business, then I'm not going to really learn anything, and it's just basically going to go in one ear and out the other, or it's going to give me...
It's not going to be utilized.
Exactly, or it's just going to be like dogma, because I'm not actually going to see whether it works or not, so I'm just going to like believe it on blind faith.
And I think that's like a lot of the importance now of just like trying things. Huh?
And when I said believing it on blind faith, it reminded me of religion.
Yeah. I mean, believing and knowing something, is a different thing. Believing is something you don't know and you haven't seen. Like knowing something is something you've seen. Like knowing I have no shirt on right now. You know what I'm saying? Versus I believe that the world is going to end in 2029.
So even if you do experience it, how do you know that what you think you experience is accurate and is not biased?
Everything's biased.
Exactly.
That's
so
the thing.
How do you make it biased towards success for yourself and for all, in a way that it helps us all prosper?
I believe that if you do what you really came here to do, like for yourself, then you end up making everybody else prosper.
Exactly.
And I think like having fun is the most important part.
Yeah. That's why we implement all different types of things on the podcast. I definitely it's definitely cool to have some stories mixed in, so it's not just really deep topics, just to kind of lighten the mood.
Of course. Like I think about the fact that nowadays there's so many people that have perspectives that we can like chime in and listen to, and we get pushed in so many directions. But like when you have a clear statement on something, then you just end up moving in it's like a branch. You like move there and you're like, okay, I've decided this, now I'm going to move in this direction. And you're like, okay, I've decided this, I'm going to move in this direction, and then you go back to the base of that and you end up exploring something else. It's fucking interesting.
It really
the fact that we I find it like really cool that like we all have stories about like some really weird or like some really funny shit. and like, you know, like all of us are just we're like all doing something. Like right now, you're playing a game. I was eating food and trying to roll a joint. Like, it's interesting what we're all doing right now. You
Yeah.
know.
Also, I wanna see how other people like see the world, because even regardless of like what it is and like how biased it is, it's all extremely, it's all interesting. Like it's so interesting, and like understanding like why they see
Yeah.
things that way.
Oh yeah, like people believe things, and like they like people that like the Wright brothers, right? People thought they were fucking crazy. Like they did not
Yeah.
believe that it was possible to fly.
Mm.
And they did, for some reason, believe that it was possible, and they made it possible.
Yep.
And now we're doing things on a way higher scale where anything is possible,
Yep.
to the point where, you know, the word unbelievable is just, it's silly, because anything can happen. You know, all these views about life are like important, critical. You know, the way that somebody sees something, you know, like dogs and snakes can see certain spirits, you know, like it's interesting. Like you need to be able to like just open yourself up to the fact that there's other things going on, but the fact that your opinion is important. Like the biggest thing that Gary Vee says is your perspective is your moneymaker. You know, like you think about the fact that like you've experienced all the things you've experienced for a reason. The fact that you want to play the game versus me eating. Like I value certain things at certain times based on what has happened throughout my whole life. You know, it's interesting. Like I saw the fucking person driving the other day on a fucking 4-wheeler.
Yeah.
Oh, I've always wanted to do that. Drive on the street.
Hey, you
I
gonna
was
do
just
it?
so happy.
You gonna do
Huh?
it? You gonna do it?
Oh yeah. I want to do it on my feet. That shit would be fun.
Definitely. Let's see how long we're doing so far. We are at almost an hour.
Oh wow.
Bro,
Has it
let's
felt
get
like
a.
it been long?
Hey, it really hasn't. I thought it was like a little, like roughly an hour.
I thought it was half an hour, but like that's cool.
Bro, it's funny as fuck. Like the introduction, like literally the first story is how you got fucking chlamydia. That's fucking hilarious to me. And then it gets into like some like deep shit about like consciousness and perspective. Like I fucking love that.
Yeah, bro. The perspective you get from getting your first fucking, I don't know, STD.
Yeah.
It's 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 a whole new perspective on life and how you go around getting poontang. But you know,
I don't plan on doing that. I plan on staying safe out here.
bro, I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys that fucking go raw. You
Nope,
know,
I ain't doing it, bro. Fuck no.
there's
Unless
a reason why.
like she gonna be like the fucking like last woman I'm going with, bro. Like I don't wanna attempt that, bro.
You can always get a test before, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean
Like,
like still I still wouldn't test that, bro. Especially like if I don't know the woman that well. If I don't like if we ain't like that and like she ain't gonna give me a test, like I ain't gonna attempt that, bro.
I understand. That's respectful. That's respectful.
Exactly. That's just me. Like if you wanna do it, bro, I don't give a fuck.
I'm just
Live your best life.
saying, like,
And I understand, like it feel good, but that's not worth it in my opinion because an STD doesn't really sound that
Opinion?
fun. Yes, in my opinion.
I mean, I get it, man. I think that like that's important. It's important to let go when necessary, and I think that like learning the lessons we've learned today, that it's important to do what you feel is right, and
Yeah,
that's why we're at where we're at now.
exactly.
And I think it's very important for people not to regret any choices they've made.
Yeah,
You know, there's an understanding of like, oh, I won't do that again, but not regretting it.
yeah. Because like even the things I regret, like I don't regret anything, so I can't really say that. But even the things that were really painful in my life that like I look back now on, I'm just like, bro, like what the fuck? Like I still understand. Like I just didn't know any better at the time. Like
Yeah.
I was still ignorant about like a lot of things. So I was doing like the best
Hmm.
I could at the time. But I
The
mean,
thing is, when you're in it, you know.
yeah, like you don't understand like how when you're in ignorance, you're so ignorant you don't know you're ignorant.
Hmm.
Because you don't know what you
You think
don't know.
anything's okay.
Yeah, you don't know what you
Don't
don't
know
know.
what you
You don't
I
know
like
how.
that.
Yeah, you don't know the scope of how much you don't know.
Oh, I love it. I love the fact that we always we're always learning something new.
Yes.
Like no matter what, you're always going to be tested in life, and how you react to being tested shows a lot about what you believe in and how you believe in. Because if you know something and you know
Yo.
believe what.
I was just hitting the speed boost, bro. That shit was fire. Holy fuck.
Holy shit! I think I'm growing strawberries.
You're growing strawberries?
Yeah, I'm just looking back here for like some roaches, but then I
Okay.
saw some strawberries
Hey,
or raspberries.
guess you'll find out when they start growing. But what were you
Oh,
saying? What were you saying?
sorry, what did you say before that?
You were saying something.
I know, but then I started talking about strawberries. I forgot. My bad.
It happens. It happens. Fuck. What were we talking about?
Socioeconomic climate of the world.
Yes. It's 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 like money and there's things we could do and there's some things that we shouldn't do. That's my stance.
Yep, and there's things that we're gonna do,
And there's
and
some
that's it.
things that we're doing.
And we'll always do it. Oh, whoa! Man found a big roach. You know what that means, buddy? Might have some weed in it.
Probably. Oh shit.
Like some of the big roaches that I end up finding
Shit.
are the ones that had like the most tobacco.
Yo. That's so much fun. Oh shit. Yo, there's another one. Yo. What the fuck? Oh shit. Bro, I be fucking
I
up
wish
the
I was there.
Jaguar. I be fucking up the Jaguar, bro.
Dude, I'm so happy right now.
roach.
Yeah, a good roach too. We got tobacco. We got weed.
Hey, happy for it. Happy for it.
And it was exact. I thought it was all day.
You should have listened to your intuition. No, when I
Dude,
used
my
to like
intuition, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say like when I didn't listen to my intuition, like that's when like some really fuck shit happens to me.
Uh,
Say
I agree, bro. Like your intuition, like that's the thing. Like when I smelled that girl's gooch, I should have just listened to myself.
yeah,
Just not gone in.
yeah,
Like that's a telltale, bro. If it
Sis.
stinks down there,
yeah,
you should not be in there.
yeah. You should have listened to your spidey sense, bro.
Hey, bro. I'm gonna be honest with you, bro.
Yeah.
When we got down in Jiggy, it was worth it. But it was quick though. Shit. Would you do it again, Tyrone? I think
What do?
I believe that had the circumstances been different, I wouldn't have been and learned the lessons I did. So
What other lessons have you learned from getting an STD? Would you say?
I learned that like some girls aren't cool with that and they don't want to fuck after you've been like trying to like get in their pants and then you tell them that you got an STD.
I
But
mean,
like
I don't blame them, bro. Like if a girl told me she had an STD, I don't really give a fuck how bad she is. I'm chilling, bro. Like I'm just like I'm good, thank you. I appreciate.
I agree. But yeah, that like taught me a lot about like
I mean,
like just being
depends on the STD and depends on the girl. I mean,
yeah.
if it's one that I won't get if I have a rubber, then maybe I would think about it. I'll listen to my intuition and I will consult my inner counsel, and we'll get to a verdict within 4 to 20 hours. Probably less than that. I don't know why I said 4 to 20. I'll say like probably like
4 to 20 hours. I wonder why you just said that.
I said probably like 1 to 2. This is because
Let me just say this, bro.
Make it sound realistic. I'll get back to you in like 4 to 5 business days.
I definitely agree. It depends on your connection.
Yeah.
And it depends on your protection.
Yes. What type of armor are you putting on that? What type of armor?
Exactly. But I think whenever it comes to getting your all with somebody, I think you should just do what the heart says. Because it's going to be worth it either way.
Yeah.
I know this one girl that I can always talk dirty to, right? You know that one girl that you can always just say dirty shit to and she'll always be cool.
I know.
Like she may not want to do shit, but like, you know. Basically, like, she was telling me that this girl with herpes has been trying to like, you know, she really wants to get down. And I'm just like, it's interesting because like you get to a point in your civilization where you understand that there were people before that just kept fucking no matter what. They didn't have condoms.
Yeah.
So you gotta understand how strong you are. And like, you know, people want to talk about like doctors, medicine, and all that. I agree in the sense that like there's certain things you need medical for, but I also think that like we're created to be healers.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can't heal ourselves, how can we heal anybody else?
Facts. Let me know if you can heal the STD, bro. I believe in it. I believe consciousness can do that. I don't really know how, but if you can imagine it, then it's possible.
Well, I think it's about, like, I don't want to get into it too much because, like, people are gonna be like, you know, you gotta do medicine and all that shit. And I'm like, I agree. And then I'm not saying I haven't done medicine. I'm just saying that the fact is, you gotta use your abilities as a human to heal yourself and trust in yourself a lot more than we have been. You know, I remember taking fucking a whole bunch of Advils and ibuprofens for stupid reasons. And like the biggest thing,
yeah, continue. I'll do it after.
the biggest thing is I see like kids nowadays wearing band-aids for fucking scratches, and I'm like, what the fuck, you know?
So I've done this, I've seen this, and I know Tyler's also told me that he's seen this before. So it's like I've had like headaches or like toothaches and like similar things like that, and like I imagined that it went away, and I believed it went away, and it did go away.
Mm-hmm. You let it pass through, you know?
Yep.
Like that's what I'm dealing with right now. Like there's some like I have this like waves of pain in my tooth and my side of my cheek, and I just let it flow through, giving it Reiki, but it's pretty fucking powerful to the point where I've been taking this like numbing agent and putting it on my face. It's just like interesting how, you know, like of course we were using whatever medicinal things we could. Can you hear me?
Now I can, yeah.
Like of course, like when we were coming of age, we used a lot of like different techniques to heal ourselves. So it's important to not like only rely on like Reiki, but to use all the elements of what we've come to know. You know, like the idea of salt baths and fucking acupuncture. Massages, bro, are the biggest thing. You know, when you get a massage, you are opening up so much more of what you're able to now reach, you know.
Also,
just think of
like I hear what you're saying, and I think basically what you're saying is like combining the aspects together, like not just doing some of the healing, but also implementing medicine with that together. But I also feel like as we start to understand our psychology as well, we will begin to understand what the mind is capable of. And even now, there are fields with like what the fuck is it? Psychosomatic, where it's the mind has an effect on like the body, and depending on thinking patterns, you can cause certain ailments in the body. Like if you hold on to like trauma or like negative energy, then that can manifest itself into diseases in the body.
Well, coming back to what you said earlier, like about fear, and like what I said about fear is like fear puts a state in your body where you're defenseless really to everything. You know, you create you create a threat when you feel a threat, you know, and by reinforcing it by believing that there's circumstances you can't control, you can put yourself in a place where you're making yourself sick. And that's like the biggest cause now is people have so many different things that they could believe are happening to them. Like, think about the fact that there's so many people with diagnoses of ADHD or depression, when all that happens really is people have thoughts and people act on things in certain ways, you know.
They also think
And
they also think that they are their mind and their thoughts when they aren't. Thoughts just pass by you. You're the awareness that is aware of your thoughts.
Mm-hmm. And that's the important part too, is to like allow thoughts to pass through, so that we can understand that like we have the ability to think any thought we want, and that the fact that, we're going back a little bit, is there cannot be any sickness in a body that's in a healthy state of mind. And when your body's in a healthy state of mind, you know, you're in a healthy state of mind, your whole body is impenetrable. You're not like, you know, bulletproof, but the fact is, like, you're in a place. You good?
Yeah, my desk broke.
Your desk?
Yeah, I'm not, because I have the wheel on a tray on the bottom, like the bottom aspect of my desk. That shit is motherfucking fell off. I fixed it.
Good shit. Are you still recording?
What did you say?
Are you still recording?
Yes.
Right.
I'm stopping a bit. Right now we are at almost 1:20.
Yeah, let's stop it now, and we'll put on some music and we'll just talk.
Alright, perfect. I'm gonna go to my car. So it was amazing talking with y'all. I can't wait to continue this journey on the next episode, and I hope y'all have a amazing rest of your day. And
yeah. Thank you for coming, bro. I hope you enjoyed, you know, my stories, and you know, learned something. Really, it's important to like open yourself up and really just allow yourself to grow.
Exactly, and look inside and find the answers. But this is it for this episode. Peace and love.
Peace.